Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Vincent Stirone, zooming in from Lake Forest, California. Vincent is a Christian businessman and owner of the top estate sales service company in Orange County, performing over 200 estate sales per year for families in the Orange County area. October 31, 2025 will mark his 11th year anniversary in the estate sale industry and has also been in the mortgage real estate space since 2002 in multiple different areas. These experiences have allowed him to grow into becoming his own boss and a strong leader. Vincent purchased his first franchise in 2014 and was so successful in his first year that he purchased a second franchise in 2015 and expanded to the majority of Orange County. His company specializes in estate sales and liquidation. However, he is also one of the top staging companies in Orange County as well. Grayson's is the number one estate sale company in the state of California and the number two in the nation after just 1 year in business. And this did not happen on accident. They are the best at what they do, and it shows in the quality of work that they perform. Welcome, Vincent.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So let's
Pleasure to
go.
be here.
Yes, absolutely. And this is like super exciting because you've had so much success so fast. Tell us a little bit about what you did before you got into the business, what made you decide to get into the business, and how scary it was and what you did to make it successful.
Yeah, so before estate sales, I was in mortgages. The industry is a pretty big bubble here in Orange County for those that know the area. I did that for years, and I did really enjoy the mortgage industry, and I was sad to leave it. I had a lot of good friends there, still have a lot of good friends there, and family still in the industry. I just decided that I needed to take a chance in my life, and I actually decided to go for real estate, got my real estate license on the side, and then decided to jump in, full force into the real estate market, which I found to be fun and challenging at the same time. Very, very competitive in our market with, multi-million-dollar homes in Orange County, and everyone's, fighting to get those listings and buyers to, get those commissions. And so after doing real estate for just about a year, I kind of fell into the estate sale industry. It was by accident. I didn't see it as a viable industry compared to the industries I just came from. And I started I did a sale for a client, and we did the best job we could for the, beginning off, and then got referrals from there and started doing, a sale a month, 2 sales a month, 3 sales a month. And now we're at the point where we do about 4 to 5 sales per week over multiple different territories. I did buy into a franchise back then, and then I bought a second franchise, as you mentioned, and then a third franchise. And now I actually just purchased part of a fourth franchise, and potentially a fifth one is in the market as well. So by the end of the year, should be about 4.5 franchises owned by myself, and we're just trying to keep growing and keep servicing the Orange County and greater Southern California area.
So now are these franchises all under the same name where you're just kind of piecing their territory together?
Yes, so it's all under Grayson's Estate Sales Services. They're based out of Huntington Beach, California, in Orange County. That's where it started from. I happen to know the owner of Grayson's, and that's how I fell into it, and I bought it originally because I thought I could get some real estate leads from it and it'd be a good side business to have. But then I ended up liking it more, and it fit my personality more, and it fit what I enjoyed doing. And I was able to help people very well, and was very successful at it from the beginning, and just ran with it and built my crew around it. So I have, about 12 people that now are work with us with our different crews, and we do the multiple sales per week with those crews.
Well, that's pretty impressive. Now, how big does Grayson's cover and territory? Are they multi-state where you're going to potentially end up being all of California for you and maybe even more than that?
It is multi-state. They're all over the United States, from New York, Florida, Texas, Chicago, California. Obviously, is the most saturated area because where it started from. My goal is not to run all of Southern California. I think that would be a little much to cover, because it does require me to kind of physically be able to drive the area. That being said, if I find the right partners in the right situation, I would be open to expanding to Northern California. But for now, I'm keeping it to Southern California, and that's already a lot to handle as it is with the four territories I have now, and about to be a fifth. So it keeps me busy 6 days a week right there.
So here's a question, and I know our listeners could be either maybe business owners or maybe thinking about being a business owner. But when you started, you didn't know anything about estate sales. How did you manage to figure it out, right? To grow it and grow so fast that you were able to buy a second franchise in year 2. That's a lot of movement, right? You have to worry about the accounting, you have to worry about the advertising of what you're going to be selling, you have to worry about pricing it, you have to worry about the contracts. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to setting up an estate sale, especially when you don't know what you're doing. How did that happen? How did you bridge that?
Yeah, great question. So I came in knowing very little about the industry. I just saw it as glorified garage sales, and then started just doing it, getting my hands dirty and feet on the ground, and learning as I went. And there is a learning curve. Now, Grayson's corporate did help with the training, so they trained me the best they could. But you really learn a lot once you just start doing it, and that goes for a lot of industries. Once you just start doing something, you learn it quicker than you realize, and there is growing pains, but you as long as you're determined, you'll get past those points, past those pains, and you'll get better a lot quicker than you realize, and get your confidence level high to where you can start performing at a higher level, much quicker than just from reading a book or learning it, just actually doing the process. So my opportunity to buy my second franchise came quicker than I was ready for in my mind. But I did have the confidence level built at that point to where I knew I could learn it, and I knew eventually I could get to that point where I could manage them both at the highest level possible. So the opportunity was there, and I took it. I knew if I didn't take it, someone else would have, and I wouldn't been able to grab it in the future, especially for the price that I was able to buy in for at that time. Because now the price to buy in is almost 10 times as much as I paid for in the beginning. I was able to get in earlier when it was just beginning, so I was lucky in that matter.
That's an amazing equity multiple evaluation that you've been able to increase the business. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, and on that note, that's just the multiple to buy in for a new franchise. I don't know what my evaluation of my business was. I haven't had it appraised, but if I had to guess, it's probably worth, honestly, 50 to 100 times that now, as far as what I'd be willing to sell it for, at least. I don't know if the numbers would back it up, but to my evaluation, I would put it at 50 to 100 times the value I bought in at, based on what we're bringing in monthly, annually, and the consistent business and traction that we have. But I have yet to get it appraised to really determine that number.
Wow. But it's more than 10. So that's way more than 10, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing accomplishment. And that's just one of the 3 or 4 or 5 that you have right now. Now, as you grow How did you learn how to structure your key people in place so that you can continue to grow and spend time doing what you do best and hire somebody to help you do the rest?
That great question as well. I didn't know how to manage people when I first started because I came from mortgages and real estate where I was being managed and I was part of a team. Now I was always able to be a leader on those teams and a top performer on those teams, but not managing the teams. So managing is something I had to learn as I went. And in the beginning, I tried to do everything myself. And that's what made sense to me is I know I could do it at this level. And if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And I had that mentality going for a few years into it until honestly my first daughter was born. And I had to step away. I had to give more time to my family and I had to trust my staff. So I entrusted them with more than they were ready to take on. And they stepped up and performed. And from that, I started to learn how to manage them and learn how to trust and empower them so that they can become performing at a high level as well and keep the quality of our business growing along with it.
Now, did you see a change in growth and your capability to handle more as you stepped away because you were forced to because of your daughter being born?
Yes, 100%. So once I realized that other people can do things too, and it doesn't have to be me, I could focus more on growing the business, getting more clients, getting more referral partners, focusing on our branding, focusing on our quality of performance, and how we can improve every area of the business. Because I'm not doing all the ins and outs that I don't need to do because I trusted my staff to do them on behalf of the company.
Isn't that and this is like for all our listeners that are listening that are entrepreneurs and that are in the beginning stages where usually the entrepreneur does everything, this wears multiple hats, does everything, and it's that fear of letting go that sometimes constricts your growth. Being able to, I guess, maybe one, pick the right people, two, train them to do the tasks that we want to do that allows us to grow where we're working on our business more than in our business.
Definitely, I couldn't agree more. And even now, I'm to the point now because now I keep expanding. I need to start getting people to cover some of the areas I'm doing now, so I can also grow the next step up, the next level up, to where I need to delegate again. So I've kind of reached another plateau of my business, and I have started to empower more of my staff to give them more. I may need to bring in an outside hire, another me that can do things on that same level and bring the quality to our business so that I can focus on the bigger picture and managing now going to be 5 territories. So these are all things that I'm kind of in the same position now, 11 years later, but at a whole different level. So I'm blessed to be here, very proud to be here, and nervous to how are the next few years, half decade going to go in my business, and so it's exciting and scary.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now I like reading a lot of books, and one of my favorites is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. And this is looks, I don't know if you've read that book yet. If you haven't, I highly recommend it.
Okay,
Um,
I'll have to read that.
but it talks about exactly what you're talking about right now, what we're talking about. Being able to hire out what we're doing on our plate to remove the things that we're doing to allow us to do more. I think it's a difficult step to do because you have to put processes in place. But as you build out and you put your teams together, you end up actually accomplishing more. You can buy 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 territories, and you're like, all of a sudden now you have more of you running around, and you can cover more territory that way.
Definitely. And going on that previous question, as far as going into other areas outside of Southern California, and to the right, if I found the right people that I could trust to manage those areas without me having to physically go there, I would consider that. as it is now, I don't really go into some of my areas physically. I'm there virtually. I'm there, phone calls, meetings, emails, dealing with the clients, but I'm physically not going to those areas outside of Orange County. I have some staff and partners that kind of help in those areas. So if I'm able to duplicate that to further areas, I could potentially go there. But for me, I kind of want to slowly branch out without many gaps in between my territories. I want to have the connecting branches. It does make it easier when you have staff and crew nearby that can fill in the surrounding areas. But if I were to go to Northern California, it'd be an island up there, and I wouldn't have the resources in case something does happen as that territory grows. So, but with the right people, I'm definitely open to the idea. Just my mindset is just kind of growing vertically and horizontally from my territory.
Right. Now, what's your competition like, and what do you guys do different than everybody else?
Yeah, we have competition, and there's actually a lot of companies that compete in the industry. A lot are mom and pop companies. Some are professional companies. We try to stay on the professional side of things and try to be innovative with technology, innovative with our ideas, and as the industry grows, to grow with it and even to direct the direction it grows on the way we use the new resources such as AI and other apps that can really help improve our performance and the entire industry.
Now, do you guys, and you just mentioned that AI, how much are you using AI? And are you guys using any platforms where you can have virtual sales going on at the same time as the regular sales, where people online, maybe somewhere else in the country in another state, can see what you're selling and potentially buy it? You just package it up and mail it to them, or does it all have to be physically there at the house?
So we actually, before ChatGPT and before really Zoom, like we started doing virtual sales back in during COVID times when everyone was stuck at home. We switched to doing the virtual sale, which allowed us to reach a larger market, and people could buy it from their comfort of their phone or computer, and we could either do a pickup or we could ship it to them. So we started doing that, about 5 years ago when in regards to virtual sales. And then in regards to technology, so there was an app called Google Lens, which is still an app and still very relevant, that pretty much used similar elements that ChatGPT uses as far as picture recognizing and item recognizing. We started using that years ago too as well, and that has kept give us a leg up in the industry using it for so long. Now that AI has become so popular, obviously more and more companies are using it, and it's becoming more of a standard for our industry. But we've been kind of ahead of the game on using different types of AI, not as advanced as they are now, but still using them for our advantage in the industry.
So tell us a little bit about what the process is like, so our audience can understand what an estate sale is and how it works and when you would actually need that.
Yeah, so basically, our estate sales can cover a lot of different areas. The first one being if a family member passes away. What do you do with all the items that are there? Of course, the family can take some items here and there, but can they take an entire household full of items? Do they want to take a household full of items? What do you do with that? So that's where you would call our company. We would meet with you at the property and basically fill in the gaps of where you need help. If you feel that you're going to handle this part of the process, we can handle the other part. If you feel you don't want to handle any of it, it's too emotional, you're out of state, you're out of the area, it's just too much to deal with, we'll come and handle everything. And we come into the property and we transform it into a store. We research, appraise, and price everything. We advertise to everything on multiple different platforms, and then conduct a sale on premise is essentially our business in a nutshell. But so someone passing away is one situation. People downsizing or moving out of state, out of country, where you just can only take, a few suitcases and you're closing your back and you need the rest of the house sold. We can handle that. Family moving to assisted living is getting very popular too. They're moving from a 5,000 square foot house to a 500 square foot apartment in an assisted living area, and they can only take, some items with them and very little, and we can sell everything else. Even such as divorce, where you have two people that they need to liquidate their items so they can share the expenses and the profit of everything. And we can help in those situations, and there's other situations that are even beyond what I can imagine that come up all the time. So there's always a new scenario, new situations, but those are the main ones that we deal with on a weekly and monthly basis.
So in the case of a death where say the family is not in town, they need to empty out the house because they're going to sell the house. How many days do you have the sale?
It's a multi-day sale. Typically 2 to 3 is average. Sometimes we actually did a 5-day sale last week in Villa Park, California. That went great. It was a really good sale. We had such awesome items there. We had a 1956 T-Bird for sale there. And that was a lot of fun, and that was a pretty big sale. But the average one's 2 to 3 days.
And at the end of the 2 or 3 days, I would imagine that not everything gets sold. What do you do with whatever's left over?
Great question. So that depends on what the family wants to do. If they are heavily involved and they want to go through everything and see what's left, they are welcome to do so. If they want to hire our clear out group to empty the house out, they can do that as well. But it's their options and what to do with it. We just basically fill in the blanks, and we have all the services available for them post sale, whether it be clear out, hazardous waste removal, paper shredding, any kind of cleaning and deep cleaning, handyman repair work. So we kind of do everything post sale to make it to where it's a one-stop shop for all of our clients.
So that's amazing. I'm glad you mentioned that. So basically, working through your group and your company, you can actually end up just basically handing the house back, ready to sell, empty, cleaned up, maintenance taken care of, and a real estate agent steps in, handles the sale, and it's super easy for the family.
Exactly. And that's why realtors love us so much, because they refer us to their clients. We deal with them. We make sure they're taken care of. We do the sale. We get the house emptied out. We give the house back to the real estate agent, ready to go for them to either list it or rent it, where they need to do. And it's meant to be a streamlined service and to be as easy as possible on everyone, because it's very emotional and very stressful for any kind of situation that I mentioned. You don't really want to necessarily have to deal with all that while you're dealing with loved ones either passing or downsizing or moving to assisted living. It's a lot on people's plates. So, and realtors are our number one referral source, because they know we're going to take care of their clients and put them in a better situation once it's all said and done.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. When the realtors are dealing with their clients, which are your clients also, they want it to be as easy as possible, in spite of the all the details and all the potential hurdles that have to be crossed, because it makes their job easier to be able to liquidate the properties, to be able to return the money back to the families.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Right on the note.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you guys have an awesome process to be able to do this. And no wonder you guys have been so successful. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so what does it look like as we wrap up the interview? What does it look like? Anything exciting that you're working on in the next 6 to 12 months? I know you mentioned the acquisitions, but is that it, or anything else that you want to mention?
Well, like I said, as technology keeps improving and adding more options to our industry, we are trying to integrate new ideas, new apps, new technologies that'll essentially revolutionize the industry from where it is now. And I use that word kind of as a making it seem bigger than it is, but for us, it is revolutionary on the things that we can do now versus what we did when I first started this, 11 years ago. The whole industry has changed a lot since then, and it's changing faster and faster. We try to be the leaders of that, and a lot of companies, a lot of our quote unquote competition, they do copy what we do, and we're proud of that. We're okay being the leaders in the industry, and we also learn from other companies too. It's not like we have the answers to everything, but there's great ideas everywhere, and it's important that we all learn from each other so we can all grow and make the industry improved all around. For me specifically, I have the new acquisitions, so I'm working on those over the next 6 months to a year. It does take time to get everything streamlined to how we have it now. Even then, my recent purchase, which was the Long Beach area, 7 years ago, that took a few years to really get dialed in to where it runs as smoothly as the Orange County ones do. And I plan to do the same for the Pasadena locations and now the South Bay locations as well. So that's the goal for the next 6 months, is to keep on improving, keep getting better, and keep making sure we just keep servicing all of our clients the best we can.
Amazing, Vince. And thanks so much for sharing. And if anybody from our audience would like to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Of course, yeah. They can obviously reach me at my number directly at 949-690-2219, or they can email us at Grayson's elite@graysons.com. Those are the two best ways. Or our social media. We're on Facebook, we're Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You can find us on there. Grayson's Elite is our handle on those. And so anything, you'll be able to find us. Even if you look up my name, Vincent Stirone, if you Google me, you'll find me pretty quickly, and you can contact me in either of those ways.
Very good, Vincent. Well, once again, thanks so much for coming on. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thanks, Vincent.
Hey, thanks so much, Danny. Have a great day.
You as well.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.